Okay, hey guys. So this video is basically going to be about how we afford Christmas. So how do we afford Christmas for our four kids on one income? I am a stay-at-home mom. My husband is the only one that works outside the home, and we have four kids ages 15 to 2 years old. So we have a 15-year-old, 8.5-year-old, 7-year-old, and the baby turned 2 in August. So how do we afford gifts for four kids for Christmas plus my in-laws? Well, the last couple of years, I want to say the last the last 3 or 4 years, we would use my husband's December bonus, and that's how we would budget for Christmas gifts. Now, if you work for any company here in Costa Rica, every December you get a bonus or basically an extra paycheck, which depending on how long you've been with the company, that equals to about a full month's salary. So most companies here pay bi-weekly, so my husband gets paid twice a month. So if you get 2 checks a month in December, you'd actually get 3 checks for that month. So that is what we would use to budget for Christmas mainly. And that bonus usually comes the first week of December. Now, everybody uses their bonus for different things, but the last couple of years, we would use the bulk of that money for Christmas gifts. So I would I would kind of have an idea of how much my husband's bonus would be, and I would set aside a certain amount from that bonus and set a budget that I wanted to stay within for the kids' gifts. So knowing ahead of time what the kids wanted and how much I'd need to spend on them and how much I would have to spend on everyone else, that is pretty much how I would come up with my bonus. I would actually shop around the stores and kind of use catalogs and things like that to help me figure out how much I would be spending on Christmas gifts. So that's how we did it in the past. Now, this year, we didn't want to use the bonus, or I didn't want to use the bonus for Christmas gifts. We wanted to save that money and use it for our family vacation. I knew that if I wasn't going to be using the bonus this year, I would need to start planning for Christmas earlier than usual. So I actually started planning and prepping for Christmas in September this year, because if the bonus money was not going to be used for Christmas gifts, I would have to save money from basically my husband's paycheck every 2 weeks to save up for Christmas and have a Christmas fund ready for that. So I had to have a game plan, and I had to be organized, and I had to be on top of my shopping. So what I did was I came up with what I thought was a reasonable budget for each kid, and that was about $100 per kid. So that's what I came up with. I'm not really even sure how I came up with that budget, but I knew I didn't want to spend a ton of money on Christmas gifts this year. My kids really don't need a lot of stuff, and they get a lot of stuff from my in-laws. They get more than enough. So I knew that spending a ton of money on gifts that they didn't really need or weren't even really asking for would just be pointless, when that money could actually be used for something else more useful. So that's what I did. I figured $100 was a good place to start for each kid. Then what I did was I asked the kids what they wanted for Christmas. So every year my kids always make me a Christmas wish list, and we usually do that list in October. But because I started so early this year, I actually had them make me a list in September of gifts that they wanted or things that they liked. And I also always have a running list of things that I know they'll love or that they've asked for previously. I always have a list of gift ideas for the kids for birthdays, for Christmas, for basically any holiday. I always have a list on hand. Then what I did was I checked the stores to see how much approximately their gifts would cost, just to get an idea and to see if my budget was feasible. So this is where catalogs come in handy. So I would get catalogs from the stores. The stores here usually bring out their catalogs for Christmas in October. And I would have the kids go through the catalogs and kind of see what it is that they like, what caught their eye, what was exciting, and then they could kind of pick out a couple of gifts that they would like. And if those gifts were affordable or within the budget, I would try to get it for them if it was something that they really, really wanted. So that's where catalogs come in handy. Then I have my planner. For me, I'm a very visual person. I need to write everything down. It keeps me organized and it helps me to remember. So this is where my planner comes in handy. I have my month at a glance where I write down pretty much all the things that I know that I need to do that month. And then I have my daily planner where I have the days where I can write down more specifically what it is that I need to do. So this helps a ton with holiday planning, with birthday planning, with gift preparations, all of that stuff. Because what I do is I write down my husband's pay period each month, and that keeps me on track of that. So that's how my planner comes in handy for me. So with planning for their gifts and going off of the budget to see if $100 was going to cut it this year, I figured out that, yeah, $100 was a pretty good budget. So then I started to look at our finances a little bit to see how we could actually save towards our goal of our Christmas fund or our Christmas budget for our kids and our family members. So again, my husband gets paid twice a month. He gets paid on the 15th, the 14th or the 15th, and the 30th or the 31st. Now, if any of those dates fall on a weekend, he will get paid before that. And that's pretty much set in stone. So starting in September, I figured out how much I would have to set aside each pay period for Christmas gifts. And that was not including stockings or extras like Christmas decor, Christmas cards, our Christmas pictures, Christmas treats. Those things actually came out of my extra spending money. So that was not included in my Christmas fund budgeting. Once I came up with my total for Christmas and calculated how much I needed to save for my Christmas fund, I was able to have my plan of attack. So I knew how much I needed each month from the end of September until December 15th. Now, December 15th is really important, and this is why I have everything written down, is because December 15th would be the last pay period my husband gets before Christmas. Christmas is the 25th, as we all know. My husband wouldn't get paid again until after Christmas on the 31st. So obviously we wouldn't be able to use that pay period because it falls after Christmas. So I would have to budget everything before December 15th. And that's when I wanted to have the bulk of my shopping done. And that's when I needed to have pretty much everything wrapped up as far as my Christmas budgeting finished as well. So that's how I used my planner for that, just to make sure that I had that on hand, to budget, to know how much I needed and what I could do in order to make sure that everything was set for December 15th. Now, as far as the rest of my Christmas shopping goes, I knew how much I needed to spend on each person. So that is how I would use the money. I was able to use the money that I set aside for Christmas gifts from my Christmas fund as I needed it. So when I saw a good deal, like for instance, when I finished shopping for my brother-in-law's 2 kids, I actually knew I wanted to get them squared away by October, because the store that I went to, they have their big sale in October and everything is like 50% off. So I knew I had to have them squared away that month, and I knew that I had to have money set aside for that specific occasion because I needed to take advantage of the sales, and I saved a ton of money for their gifts. So that is how, when I say I could use the money that I set aside as Christmas gifts as needed, because when I saw a good deal on a gift, especially gifts that were on the kids' gift list, I can just use the money set aside in my Christmas budget to buy that. So I tried to shop smart. I shopped around. I waited for sales, and I think I did good. I mean, there are a couple things that, because I bought them early, I could have gotten better deals on them if I had waited, but I kind of just wanted to get my Christmas shopping done, especially for my kids, before December. So that happened. And then, as far as everybody else, I figured I can get them squared away at least the first 2 weeks in December. Okay, so now that I'm almost done Christmas shopping, I can pretty much look at my budget and see where I stand. As far as for my kids, I am under budget, so that's awesome. So the money that I set aside for my in-laws and everybody else that I have to shop for, I set aside $150 total for their Christmas gifts. And that's just a tentative budget. Obviously, I know how much I want to spend. Like, for instance, I want to spend $50 on my brother-in-law and sister-in-law together. So that's how I came up with that budget. Obviously, if I go under, that would be awesome. If I go a little over, that's okay, because I'm under budget for my kids' Christmas gifts. So it won't hurt my budget if I'm a little bit over for everybody else. So as far as that, I came up with that budget for them. And I think the money that I save for the kids' Christmas gifts can actually be put towards the gifts that I have to shop for my in-laws, because instead of spending $400 on my kids, I'm actually spending less than $300. So that's going to really help my budget a lot. And I think that's awesome, because that money can be put towards our Christmas vacation. Another thing that really helped our budget, that also helped our budget, was talking to our kids beforehand and letting them know that this year would be a simpler Christmas, because we wanted a family vacation to the beach, and that would be our big Christmas gift. And all the kids are excited to go to the beach. So they were all on board and really excited about having a family vacation this year. So their wish list was smaller this year, and the presents that they asked for were less expensive, which is awesome. They know that they only get 3 gifts as per tradition. And so my kids know to appreciate and be grateful for whatever and however much they get. They do get spoiled by my in-laws, though. So even though they know that mom and dad are going to get them 3 gifts, which is more than enough for them, they get more than enough from my in-laws. So they are not hurting. They're not feeling deprived. They're actually really, really blessed. So I'm really thankful for that. They, like I said, they're really blessed. They're really grateful. They aren't spoiled. And they would actually be happy if they just got one gift under the tree, as long as it's the one thing that they really want. And we always try to get our kids exactly what they ask for Christmas, because I think that's just the magic of Christmas. You know, getting the one gift or gifts that you really want and have been asking for a long time. So they're fine with a simpler Christmas from us. They get a lot. They get more than enough from my in-laws. And they really get nice stocking stuffers as well. So they never feel deprived. Having a plan and starting early really, really helped me to budget smart this year. So my total budget for my 4 kids plus my in-laws plus teachers was about $550. So far I spent less than $300 for my kids. And I still have my in-laws to shop for, like I said, my brother-in-law, his wife, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and then the kids' 2 teachers. This year, my friends and I are not going to be doing a Christmas gift exchange, Secret Santa type thing. So that is not something that I had to put in my budget this year, which also helped my budget this year as well. So those are the people that I have left to shop for. And I believe I'll be under my total budget for sure, even with my middle kids getting more than 3 gifts this year, because their gifts are a lot smaller than usual. Like, for instance, last year, we stuck to the 3 gift rule because the gifts were a little bit more expensive. My 15-year-old got a laptop, and my daughter, she got like a huge dollhouse. So the gifts were bigger last year and they were a little bit more expensive. This year, because the gifts are smaller and a lot less expensive, my two middle kids are getting a little bit more to open under the tree, more than 3 gifts anyway. So I did that. I did get them more than 3 gifts, but I try to stick to the 3 gifts limit. Like I said, especially if the gifts are on the pricier side or if the items are a little bit bigger. But since I spent so much less on their gifts this year, I figured it's okay if I get them a little bit more. I'm not going to break the bank or anything. I got them everything they wanted. Plus, because the packages are so much smaller, it doesn't even really seem like they're getting a lot anyway. Now, my 2 middle kids, like my 8.5-year-old and my 7-year-old, they will open the same amount of gifts this year as always, because for them, at their age, they'll notice. The baby's too young to care, and my 15-year-old doesn't care anymore about the quantity of gifts. He cares only about the quality. As far as their individual budget, like I said, I came in under for the 3 older kids. I believe I spent less than $80 on them a piece. And now the money I saved on their gifts can be put towards, again, my in-laws gifts and teacher gifts. So I could probably do like nicer teacher gifts this year. I'm actually thinking of getting like $10 Walmart gift cards. We'll see how that plays out, because I do like to buy actual gifts. But you know, and any extra that I have left over, again, from my Xmas fund, that can go towards our vacation budget. So if I don't end up spending the total $550, whatever's left over can definitely be put towards our vacation, which would be awesome. So I know this was a pretty long video. So if you stayed and you watched this video, I really appreciate it. And I thank you for watching. And I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.